Check Slack. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Hello, hello, hello. Check 1, 2. That's good. A little lower. That's good. Check, check. Check. Hello, check. Lower, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, check. Hello? Hello. Check 1, 2. It's good.
I was just gonna throw. Hello. Hello. Hi. Hello, test. I'm getting a little louder. Hello. Hello. Okay. Hey. Almost there. Okay. Maybe I don't need this. Maybe I can just yell and you can hear me like this. Awesome. I'm gonna try like this. Oh, the live stream can hear me. Hi, live stream. Hey everyone, welcome to the G51 Galvanize Web Development Capstone Showcase. Woo! I'm super excited. As CJ just mentioned, we are live streaming this, so if any family members could not attend, is it just YouTube/CJ Reynolds? We'll get you the link on that soon, but if you're tuning in, you obviously already have it. So let's start off with some quick logistics about the event today. I'll talk briefly about Galvanize, and then I'll get out of here. You'll hear a little bit from CJ, our lead instructor, about the program and this cohort in specific, and then we'll hop into the nitty-gritty. We'll see some presentations. We are going to have one intermission throughout, so let's get into event logistics. So as I had mentioned, we're going to get kicked off here shortly. Hopefully, as you came in, you got a chance to grab a drink and some of those awesome refreshments from Gather. Those will stay out, so for those of us joining here in person, when we take break, feel free to grab new refreshments and things like that. If it's your first time here, the restrooms are just short left out here past the front desk, easy to find, things like that. So as I look out here into the crowd, I see some new faces, but I also see some veterans of some Galvanize events before. So I'd love to say just a few quick words about Galvanize for those of you who might not know. So we're here situated at our Golden Triangle campuses, and we have 8 beautiful urban campuses across the US where we have a plethora of educational offerings from our data science immersive all the way to our web development immersive that you're here for today. So you're going to see some awesome projects. Like I've done these events a lot, but I have to say you're going to see some really awesome projects tonight. Everything from augmented reality to native mobile apps to Internet of Things projects. You're going to see a really wide depth of projects, way beyond just a simple CRUD app that you might have seen in other sort of presentations like this. So really excited for you to see those today. So as we wrap up here, as I mentioned, we're going to move on to CJ next. He's going to talk about the cohort and the program in sort of a higher level overview. Then we're going to hand it off. We're going to do about 9 presentations. We'll take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back and wrap it up with 9 more. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to the lead instructor, CJ Reynolds.
Check. Check, 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 check. A little louder. Too loud. Hello? That'll do. Hello, everyone. My name is CJ Reynolds. Welcome to Capstone Showcase. I first want to kind of talk about what the Galvanized Web Development Immersive is. Like, what is this program that these students are going through? So it is a 6-month. Yeah. I have to use it for the live stream. Honestly, though. All right, so Galvanize is a 6-month immersive program. So that means 5 days a week, 8 hours a day or more, depending on the kind of student that you are. But for 6 months, students are immersed in web development culture. The program is split up into 4 quarters. So the first quarter is all about the front end. So students learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and also jQuery. And that culminates in a solo project where they build a front end app that talks to some existing web API. The second quarter is a back-end quarter. So we teach full-stack JavaScript. So the students learn all about Node, Express, Postgres to build a back-end project. They're formed into groups, and that quarter culminates in a group project. The third quarter is all about front-end frameworks and unfamiliar environments. So our students were given the option to learn any front-end framework that they wanted to. So tonight you're going to see React, you're going to see Angular, you're going to see Ember, maybe some other things I'm not thinking of. You're going to see Vue, of course. But Q3 also focuses on unfamiliar environments, and the idea being that in the real world, it's not going to be super easy when you get dropped into a new workplace with really large code bases and unfamiliar things. So in Q3, we really focus on getting up to speed in new code bases and learning about unknown things that you might come across in the real world. That quarter culminates in a group project where the students self-select into groups, and then they have to have at least one unfamiliar technology in their group project that they have to teach themselves over the course of about a week. Lastly, in Q4, students learn all about object-oriented programming, computer science, interview prep, and anything else required for the job search. And all of that culminates in tonight, the solo Capstone project. All the projects you see tonight were built by the student alone, and they are full-stack applications, meaning they built out the back end themselves, they built out the front end, and incorporated some unfamiliar tech. Yeah. All right, so some of you here might know nothing about what I'm talking about when I say full stack front end, back end. So I kind of want to just clarify what that is. You're going to hear these words tonight: front end, back end, API, that kind of stuff. But when we talk about the front end, we're talking about what you use. So what shows up on your browser on your phone, what shows up on a laptop, it's really the thing that you see in your web browser. The buttons, the pictures, the things in the browser, that is the front end. But web development is a lot more than just the front end. There's also what's known as the back end, and this is where a lot of the heavy lifting happens. So typically there's some server, and you might have heard it as the cloud or something like that. And on the back end are also databases. So databases allow us to store large amounts of information. So if you think about Facebook, for instance, you might go to the Facebook app on your phone, but Facebook has billions of users. Like, how is it possible that you can use the Facebook app on a tiny little device? Well, it's because those things are separate. So when you look at Facebook, you're just seeing the front end. The back end has many, many databases with billions and billions of records with all the data. And these things interact to kind of show the data and store the data, and it all happens like this. So the front end might make some request to the cloud, say, hey, I need some data. And that cloud might send it back. But the server might also need to talk to the database to get more data, get that back, and then send it to the client of some kind. And as I mentioned, this backend is typically known as the API or the cloud, but it's typically where data is stored and manipulated. But every project you see tonight, the students built everything in the stack. They built the front end, they built the back end, they built the database. They truly learned everything it takes to be a software developer and build a full application. Okay, and at Galvanize, students don't just learn programming. It's a lot more than that. They learn design fundamentals. They learn agile project management. They learn team collaboration. And ultimately, and probably the most important thing, they learn how to learn. So when they're dropped into unfamiliar environments, when they're dropped into something that they don't know, they can get up to speed and learn that thing if needed. Now, the stack that we do teach is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angular, and recently we've also introduced React on the front end. And for the back end, we are JavaScript full stack, so we teach Node.js, Express, and Postgres. So this is on paper what we teach. But what you're going to see tonight is a lot more than that. So every project you see tonight has some significant technology that was not covered in the program, meaning over the past 2 weeks, week and a half, the students not only built a full stack application, but they also taught themselves a new front end framework, or they taught themselves about hardware, or a new database. But every project you'll see will have one thing in it that they had to totally teach themselves over the past 2 weeks. This is just a sampling of some of the things you're going to see tonight, but there is a lot. Okay. I just want to reiterate, 2 weeks, really like a week and a half. Every app you see tonight was built in just the past 2 weeks. You're going to see some amazing stuff, and it can be easy to forget the amount of time that it took to build these things, but really just 2 weeks to see the projects, to build the projects that you're going to see tonight. Also, 6 months. So Galvanize is a 6-month program, but these students gave up their lives for 6 months. So for 6 months, they have immersed themselves in developer culture to learn about the back end, learn about the front end, learn how to build software. And to me, that is something that I can't even comprehend doing, just literally stopping your life for 6 months and learning something like this. So for that, I am truly honored to be your instructor. You bet. And tonight, you're only going to see a sampling of the work that they've done and really who they are. As I mentioned, these students quit their lives for 6 months. So before this, they were many, many different things. And after this program, they still are those things. They're just now software developers on top of that. And it's the idea of someone who's as well-rounded, having lived a career and done these kinds of things, and now learning about tech. It's not like that goes away. There's still those things, but now they're software developers too. So a lot of these projects, you're going to see their personality shine. You're going to see their past experience shine. And these are the students of G51. Awesome. Okay, I have one more thing for you. Okay, so tonight, if you're watching on the live stream, if you're in the audience, I have built an application specifically for tonight, specifically for you, the attendees of G51 Capstone Showcase. So if you go to your mobile device, your laptop, any internet-connected device, and go to g51.tech, you're going to see this website. So this site allows you to dial into all the students that are going to be presenting tonight. So for any student, you can click on them. You can see their full profile. You can see a description of their capstone project, links out to GitHub, the deployed link. You can see their bio, links out to all of the projects that they've built while being at Galvanize, as well as their past experience, education, all that good stuff. On each student page, there's also a notes feature. So if you go in here and add a note, these notes survive a page refresh, so if you type them in and go elsewhere, they'll stick around. You can go into any student and add some notes. And then at the end of the night when you're ready, you can click this Email All Notes button. That will open up your default email program, and all of the notes you took, all of the students' LinkedIn URLs and email will be in that email, and you can send it to yourself or your coworkers. Also on this page, you can filter the students. So if you're looking for a student that knows React, just type React. If you're looking for a student that knows Mongo, spell it right, and type it out. If you're looking for a student that's looking to have fun, type in beer, and you'll get robbed. Okay. The other really cool feature of the site is that it is live. So if you when you visit the live page, you're going to see who is the next presenter, who is the current presenter, and who's coming up next. So if you get confused, you forget what their name was, or if you forget what their name was, type their technology, maybe you'll find them on this page. But if you go to this page, you're going to see exactly who's up there right now and who's coming up next. So I will demo that real quick. So the current presenter is Fahed. Up next is Andrew. When I click broadcast, anybody that's on this webpage is going to see in real time who the current presenter is. And so, without further ado, let's give it up for Fahed.
Knew it. All good? Good evening, everyone. So, my name is Fahed. I'm a full stack developer. Before full stack development, I was a game developer, and I was also a mobile developer, specifically for iOS. A little bit more about me. So, I was born and raised in Iraq. I left Iraq in 2005. I went to Jordan. I lived there for 9 years. And then I moved on to the US to settle down 4 years ago. So during the past 10 years, I had my master's degree in computer science. I had my bachelor's degree in computer science. And I had some experience in game development and mobile development also. And also, as you can see, the picture in the middle, I was one of the 5 teams who won the Sony PlayStation tournament held in Jordan, and I was the team leader for that project. And some other experiences like in teaching and so on. So I built several apps and project games, mobile apps, web apps also. These are some of the projects I built. As you can see, one of the apps, it's called RDC. It was ranked as one of the 200 best medical apps in the US. And also this app called Interdim, it's all about users posting secrets, and people can post secrets and comment on other secrets anonymously. and also some other apps you can see in this page. One of the main things I'm really passionate about doing like on a daily basis is finding solutions for different problems. So I look for problems, not that I like problems, but I find problems to find solutions for them. So I have some predefined rules for me to follow up, which is, this is one of the most important thing for me, like one of the most important rules for me, which is build something that people need, but they don't really know that they need it. So speaking of that, so I like social media and I use social media, but I found some problems in social media. So I want to ask you now, so how many of you guys are using social media on a daily basis? Cool. So how many of you are like tired of scrolling through posts you're not really interested in? Cool. So I have the solution for you. I built an app called UponTag. So it's a social media web app where people can include keywords, add keywords for posts they're really interested in. So all you have to do is include tags for topics you're interested in, and that's it. And also the other really cool feature is you don't really have to follow people, follow pages, like pages or whatsoever, like what you do in like any other social media. I don't want to mention anyone. All you have to do is include your tags. How? As I mentioned, it's very easy. Just include the tags for posts and for topics you're really interested in, and all of these topics will come up to your wall. That's it. I'm going to jump up to the demo. So you visit upontag.com, and then if you don't have an account, you sign up for an account. It's very basic: email, password, profile picture, and even in the sign-up process, you can include some of the topics you're interested in, like this guy, Krito, he's interested in GIF and science. You'll get an email to activate your account. Then you activate your account, you're good to go. Log in, and then as you can see, your wall is based on the things you're included in the sign-up, science, GIF, whatever. You see all of these posts, and if you're interested in one of the posts, you can upvote one of these posts, leave a comment. It's very easy. You go back to your wall. Probably you're interested in something else like Tesla, and it's like instantly populated into your wall. And also you can create a new post, add your text, include tags for people to be, so they can find this post based on these tags, add an image or video, whatever. That's it. You go back to your wall. You can remove tags. Will be updated. Log out. I'm going to log in with my email and password. This is my wall. You can see I have like a slight different experience on my wall because I have like slightly different experiences and things I'm interested in, like NASA, space, Jupiter, whatever. Load more posts. And as you can see, I can see the post that posted by the previous user, Krito. Leave a comment, upvoted it, remove some tags, will be populated, and that's it. Also, I can go to my post and see all of the posts I posted before, and I have full control over my post. Edit, comment, or whatever. And also, I can go to the settings, one click to set my profile to be private, and that's it. I'm logging out. That's really brief and short demo for the app. So for the technologies I use, for the front end, I use AngularJS and Bootstrap, and definitely HTML and CSS for the styles. For the back end, I use Express and Node, and for the database, I use MongoDB and Monk specifically. For the tools, I GitHub, Adobe Experience Design was for like the user interface and the user design, and Amazon S3 services to upload and host my images and videos. Challenges, I would say the whole journey was a challenge. But the most important thing for me is giving the best experience to the user. That was the most important challenge for me. Future plans, user will be able to add friends, real-time notifications if someone liked your page, upvoted your post, commenting on your post or whatever, block list of tags if you're not really interested in those kind of tags, put them in a block list and that's it. Post filters based on country code, zip code, build a mobile app for iOS and Android, and a revenue stream methodology, let's say advertisement, probably. So, again, my name is Fahad. Please feel free to contact me. These are my contact information. If you want to hire me, or you want to take Upon Tech to the next level, or if you want to be my friend, I would love to. And finally, I would love to invite you to sign up for Upon Tech to help get this app to be the next trend in social media. Thank you very much.
Check, check, 1, 2. All right, let's get started. Shalom, hey guys, my name is Andrew Eskenazi, and I'm going to tell you about my application and a little bit about myself as well. So I've had a career as a chef, went to Culinary Institute of America out of high school on scholarship, was a sushi chef for 2 years. I played chess, many tournaments out in Boulder, and also I've played over 4,000 Blitz games in the last year online, super obsessed with that. I've been coding for the last year and a half, and I'm a full-time coder now, and would love to tell you about my projects. Q3, I built this WebSockets application where you can play a friend across the world, and I've done a lot of WebGL 3D rendering. So rock climbing is very dear to my heart. You know, there's a lot of communities of climbers in the state, and some of the best climbers in the world, actually. And I learned as a beginner, becoming an intermediate climber, that it's less about strength and will, just like trying to scale up the wall, and more about tactical strategies and advantages to really improve yourself and build your knowledge base to overcome anything that stands in your way. So the Demanta Journal, the best rock climbers in the world talk about how they meticulously climb, and they write down every single detail of every single kind of experience. When they're doing a free solo, there's no ropes. There's a lot on the line, big stakes. And so the beta is essentially a conversation based around that, where it's really kind of integrated with all of those details, and it's about basically the flow of getting up the wall and the journey that comes with that. So part of that journey is the solution. Beta Climb is a revolutionary app that allows climbers to really kind of log their experience and be on the wall and kind of become a better climber as well. So I'm going to go into the demo. So as you can see, the rock wall is loaded, and now we're on the About page. So the inspiration for my project is based off the Honnold Foundation. Alex Honnold, one of the best climbers in the world, donates a third of his wealth to help build global communities. And then you can go on your cliff notes and add, notes, add the title, add the highlights, the pitfalls, a blurb, the conditions, and kind of go back to climbs you've done in the past and log those. And when you do it the next time, it'll help you with anything that you're climbing and sort of build that knowledge base. The same thing, you can add a brand new climb, location, the type, the rating system, the grade, whatever you're doing at the current moment. So you've just basically finished a climb, and then you've logged it. And then you can search as well through your list. And then onto the stats page. Okay, so this is Google Charts, and I'm basically doing a total of each topic or each basically type of climb that you do, and then the upload of the notes, the panoramic photos, which you'll see in a sec, so you can track your monthly progress. And then here I uploaded a panoramic image, and it's wrapped around a 3D virtual room, and I took a picture actually of the Platte River right where we're at. And then lastly we have the React Tube, which is essentially Beta Climb's Get Inspired kind of hub right here. Awesome. And then I'm going to give you guys a mobile demo. And then it works on iPhone and Android. WebVR kind of enables that room that you're in to come alive. So the tech involved, on the back end, I use Mocha and Chai as a testing suite. The front end, I use React, MobX to manage state of the application when you're passing in props. ReactTube was another client that I had built using the YouTube API, the VR client using WebVR for the virtual reality experience and mobile compatibility with that. And then Bavel in Hebrew, which is basically a transpiler for JavaScript and basically takes the complex ES 2016 and 2017 code and transpiles that down to vanilla JavaScript. And then Skeleton CSS, I started with something lightweight so I could kind of build from the ground up. On the back end, I used Node. I used Koa for the first time, was the language that I had learned in the last 2 weeks. Objection.js to make queries to my PostgreSQL database. And so some of the challenges, or at least a couple. So CSS, kind of building my knowledge and not really being a front-end type of guy and jumping into React and being more server-oriented, making requests and getting responses. And then learning Koa, which was the back end, a brand new framework that I transitioned from Express to Koa. There was not built-in middleware, did a ton of async awaits, and yeah, I overcame that. So the future is WebVR. I'm going to create kind of like site by click with your VR headset and kind of enable you to enter rooms via buttons that you add or that are added to the application, and then eventually launch that on the App Store. So my name is Andrew Eskenazi. I want to say Toda Rabah, thank you very much. My GitHub is here, my email. Feel free to check out betaclimb.rocks right now on your mobile phone if you have an iPhone or an Android, and you can view that VR experience. Thank you very much, guys.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chase Murda, and I'm a creative full-stack developer. To tell you a little bit about myself, I've always been an artistic and technological individual. When I was younger, my father was actually in the web development business industry, so I started learning about technological aspects at a pretty young age. I began designing and creating my own websites, and I actually remember my first website being based upon a game, Flight Simulator 2000. And I knew that doing this was a passion that I was always going to carry on throughout my life. Later, I went to school for graphic design, which provided means into a career as a professional graphic designer and marketing specialist for over 8 years. When I develop apps, I place emphasis on minimalism, creativity, and most importantly, user experience. User experience is important because applications are not designed for a single person, but rather for interaction among many users. This leads me to my question for the audience tonight. Who here has been to a resort? And with those of your hands raised, who's had a hard time finding out about the events at the resort, the activities, maybe the times that they may start? Great, me too. When I was in Jamaica with my wife, we actually, it was hard knowing when that boat was going to leave for this next snorkeling trip, or when we
when we would be able to reserve dinner. So I created an app called Resort Link, an activity reservation system. Resort Link is a mobile application that is geared towards resorts connecting with their guests in an easy-to-use, frustration-free experience. It combines effortless ease of use for all age groups, including those who may not be technologically savvy, and an all-around user-friendly experience. When a user opens the application, they're greeted with a splash screen. A user then can enter the application from the splash screen by clicking Continue. This will then bring you to the initial page of the application. As an admin or resort staff, creating activities is very easy. You will just press the add sign at the top right of the screen here. You are then presented a form that represents how the data would look in an activity's detailed view. All you need to create an activity is a title, a location, a description, a time, a price if applicable, and a picture, which will be accessed from the place where at the top of the screen there. This will then take you to your camera roll, and you can find and pick the picture that best represents the activity or event that you are creating. When you're finished creating the event, you'll just hit the Create Event button on the bottom right screen there, and then that event will be passed to the resort's database, and then you are then directed to the home screen. As a user, when you access the application, you're presented with a scrollable list of activities or events based around the resort. As you scroll through and find an activity you're interested in, you can then access the detailed events page by clicking it. For instance, the massage event that we just created. The user is then presented with a detailed view of the event and the information the resort staff just previously created. The really cool aspect of this app is there's no account, there's no password, there's no login. I wanted to make this process as easy as possible for a guest, and therefore there's no reason to remember anything. Just scroll, when you're interested in an event, all you have to do is scroll to the bottom, enter your phone number, and when you're ready to reserve the event, you just press the Reserve Event button on the bottom right of the screen. This will then give you a text message notification that letting you know the event that you just scheduled for, where it's at, and the time that you scheduled it for. In the future for this application, I would definitely like to implement it into a resort chain for testing and compatibility with other electronic devices, like an iPad kiosk or touchscreen TVs throughout the lobby. And I feel like this application has a lot of potential, and if it goes well, I'd definitely like to scale it out to a full-fledged paid-as-a-service platform. I would also like to implement a payment processing system for third-party resources and activities outside of the resort. We all know when you go to a resort, you can always go ziplining, you can go four-wheeling. I want those businesses to be able to connect with the resort and say, hey, we'd like to put our event in your application. Therefore, being as a guest, you can then use the payment processing system, pay for the event, schedule it. All you have to do is show up. The technologies used for my application were React Native and Redux on the front end, Postgres for the database, Express and Node for the back end, and the Twilio API for your text notifications. And thus, Resort Link has been created. I'd like to give a special thanks to Couples Resorts in Jamaica for allowing me to use their branding for my application. This allowed me to show you guys how the application would actually look if it was implemented into a resort. Once again, I'm Chase Amerda. This was my app, Resort Link. If you have any questions, please come find me after the event. I'd love to talk with you. Thank you.
All right. Is this thing on? I don't think so. Yeah. Good, yeah? Okay, cool. Hi, my name's Alex Reed. I'm here to present to you InCheck. It's a way to keep your knowledge fresh. So a little bit about myself. I'm a software developer, I'm a musician, and I'm a lifelong learner. Lifelong learner meaning that I just love to pick up new stuff and learn it. There's a lot out there to learn. Whether that's just a new instrument, a new sport, or traveling to a new part of the country, I just love to experience what this world has to offer. So I kind of figured out that once I entered the workforce and had responsibilities and a 9-to-5 job, that it wasn't as easy to learn stuff, just sheer time restraints. And so when I was studying for Galvanize, this would be kind of my typical day. I'd wake up, I'd go to work, and I'd be there for about 8 to 9 hours. I'd come home, I'd still have to get dinner, I'd still have to do laundry, just your basic chores and stuff, and then after that, I'd want to hang out with my friends, but I'd have to level that with, studying code at night. And by the time I got to that point, it'd been 24 hours since I've touched the material, and my retention was just gone. So then you're spending 15 to 30 minutes going back over the material and kind of reacquainting yourself with what you were learning the night before. So I wanted to bridge the gap, and I'm trying to do that with InCheck, pretty much a database where you put in your terms and definitions, and throughout the day, you'll be sent directly to your mobile phone these terms to keep you fresh on those terms. So without further ado, we'll go into the demo. So first thing you're going to want to do is just log in with a username and email, and that'll take you directly to your decks page. These are all the decks that you want to get tested on throughout the day. You can do whatever you want. You can see I have Star Wars, JavaScript, physics, computer science, and then you can create any amount of decks. So we'll go down here, open the create a new deck page. So you'll name your deck, you'll give it a description, and you'll give it a category. Here we're making an astronomy deck, and you can put as many amount of terms as you want in there. So there you can see it, on your decks page. You'll go into the actual deck, and this is pretty much like mission control for your decks. We'll create a new card, and this is pretty much like creating a term that you want to get sent to your phone. So in here, you pretty much fill out a term, definition, and then a hint to be sent to your phone. The first thing that's going to come in is the term. And so you can see now that we have one deck in the card. It'll say how many are completed. You have the term, definition, and then you can also turn on and off the deck. So if you don't want to be tested on it on any given day, you can turn it off. And then in here on the edit deck link, this is where you set how many days you want to be tested. We'll just get tested on the weekdays, so you go Monday through Friday. And then you check a start time. Right here, we'll just do 9 a.m. and then an end time for when you want to get tested on those days. So 9 p.m. And then you'll choose an interval, 10, 20, 30, or an hour. So every 30 minutes will be sent a new term from this astronomy deck. So then the text message will come in, and it'll be just like any other text message, except it'll be from the application. So the first thing it texts you is a term, and then you're going to respond with what you think the definition is. And once you send that back to InCheck, it'll respond with the correct definition. And so you read over that and respond with a Y if you got it correct, and an N if you got it incorrect. So right here we got it right, so we'll text off a Y. And then InCheck will tell you that it was either marked as completed or incomplete. So now that card you won't get tested on that card in the future, therefore testing the stuff you don't know. So the technologies I used for this were React and Redux on the front end, and then Postgres and Node on the back end. And I was using Twilio for the text messaging and Heroku for the scheduler. So a couple challenges I had were scheduling logic, just all the text messages flying around and a bunch of different intervals that I had set. It was kind of hard to go through the database and figure out how to make that flow nicely. This was my first app using Redux and state management, so that was definitely a challenge to pick up. And then Twilio, again, the text messaging service I used, that was definitely a learning curve, but I finally got down a good text flow, so that was nice. So future plans, I'm definitely not done with this app. I want to be able to make private and public decks so you can share them with your friends, just making a better learning community all in all. And then data visualization on your progress to track how well you're doing on your decks. And then I want you to also be able to text in check and have them send a term no matter what time of day is, and whenever you just want to test your knowledge. So that's in check. Go to readaboutalex.com to check in with how in check goes in the future. And if you want to get in touch, all my contact info is on there. Thank you.
We gotta make this official. Ooh, this is what this pocket's for. Right here. Holy crap. What do you know? Yeah. That's why I got the jacket. Right there. Oh, I gotta plug it in. Cool. Alrighty, how we doing tonight, guys? Woo! Alright, my name's Michael Bologna, and it's Bologna like lasagna, because the next time you see it, you're going to have a trouble pronouncing it, so Bologna like lasagna, never forget now. Well, a little about myself. I'm a full-stack web developer. I'm a former fitness enthusiast. I studied at University of Northern Colorado, studied sport and exercise science. Actually wanted to become like a personal trainer, maybe open up my own CrossFit gym. This is actually me at my first CrossFit competition. Sorry for my blindingly pale skin. I stick my arm out the window and I get sunburns. That's terrible. And but I'm also a big video game buff. I've been playing video games my whole life and actually play competitive fighting games. Yeah, I'm an adult that goes to video game tournaments to win money. It's kind of weird, but that also brings me to I'm an avid Twitch user. And if you guys don't know what Twitch is, it's actually a Amazon-owned website where users can broadcast themselves streaming video games while other users can chat and watch along with the streamer. And in February, at the peak traffic hours, it's actually ranked 4th for web traffic above Facebook. So CJ did say that there's billions of Facebook users. There's more Twitch users out there right now. And this is actually one of those video game tournaments that I go to. These are 2 top players. But if you notice on the right, you got the chat, and that's one of the primary user experiences for Twitch. And as it starts going, you notice that it gets harder and harder to keep up with that chat room. It's harder to get that chat experience that you really want, and that's what I'm setting out to solve right now. Ooh, nice. So I got MTV, Michael's Twitch viewer. Yeah, they got it. I didn't think you guys were gonna get that. But it's a multi-stream viewer with a private chat. So you're creating your own viewing experience and getting away from trying to compete with thousands of other users, chatting and just stream monstering up. But all right, let's start chatting with some people. Boys? All right, so this is MTV right here. You can view view rooms. So these are the current rooms that are that have been created. We can go into those, but let's create our own room actually. Let's call this G51 Capstone. Let's see if I spell things right. And these are 2 streamers that I sometimes enjoy. No profanity, don't worry. All right, then we're going to go back to our view rooms. And oh, hey, look, there it is. Let's go into it. Then as you see, we got 2 streams going at once. We got one on the left, and I don't think this guy's online right now. Then, hey, we got 2 guys in the crowd right now chatting it up. And we got Vic, too. Jason, what color is my jacket right now? Type it in. What would I ask you? You got to type it in. Come on, man. Like, what color? Yellow? No. It's a running joke. Never mind. Let's see if this guy's on. But yeah, you can change the stream. Oh God, I can't spell. Sorry. Brandon. There we go. Hey, he's live. So 2 different streams going at once. I don't know what this guy's doing. Oh, he actually is. But there we are. And we have our own chatting experience. We don't have to compete with thousands of other people, and we can keep track of what's actually going on. Go away. As technology I used for this on the front end, I used Vue.js, then front end and back end Socket.io to get that actually chat messenger system working. Had to do that. Then on the back end, I got a Mongo database with a Monk on top of that. Then of course Node.js and Express standard. Then some challenges I had. MongoDB and Monk. Here at Galvanize, we actually do PostgreSQL, so that's a relational database, and transitioning from that to a non-relational database was a little bit tough, but obviously the app's working, so got through it. Then Socket.io with Vue.js was a little wonky as well. I had to do some workarounds to get that working properly, but hey, it worked. He told me what color I was wearing. But thank you guys for listening, and remember, it's Bologna like lasagna. Thank you. I got 2 pockets. 2.
Stay around.
I'll sit next to
Kelly. No peeking. All right, how we doing, guys? My name's Austin, and I'm a full stack developer. Get into a little bit about myself first. Over the last 10 years, I've had a vast portfolio of work experiences. I won't get into too much detail about that, but one thing I did pull out of that was what I'm looking for in a career down the line. The 3 things that kind of make up my trifecta is I'm looking for a creative environment, looking for an accepting community. I'm also looking for a place that doesn't shun opportunities or changes. You might think, what a better place than tech? Well, the transition isn't that easy. My last job before I moved to Denver, I was a real estate agent in Florida. While I was there as a new hire, I used a lot of technologies to make my job easier, or as my bosses like to say, a little more efficient and effective. But I was able to do a lot of stuff in 5 hours that'd take a lot of the veterans about 10. So I started diving into teaching this technology, finding more products and whatnot, and I kind of became the tech guru in the office. Kind of sparked my interest in it. I ended up signing up to a couple of computer science classes in my local university. Really got my feet wet, decided I'm going to go for it, and Florida just wasn't for me, so I decided to search for a new place to live. Most people might use Google. I used this van, Caitlin. Me and Caitlin took a trip around the United States for about 6 months, mostly around the western United States, and just really looking for my next opportunity, my place to live, and I think I found it, thank you. But in this trip, I came across a little city on the West Coast called San Francisco, and while there, I made some friends, and I got invited to a public speaking improv class. And I thought, improv, that sounds fun and awkward, but public speaking is not fun and awkward. So I went ahead and bit the bullet, went for it, and I kind of discovered a solution to a problem that I haven't thought of in a long time. And that problem is no fun way to practice public speaking. Might not have thought of that. Maybe our class has thought of that in the last 2 or 3 weeks, but yeah. Well, I set out to solve that problem by taking one of these exercises, making it digitalized, making a web product, web app. Anyways, and the solution is I'm going to make this fun, social, and different. We're going to get right into a demo with Off the Cuff, a new way to speak and a new way to train. Stay there, Mike, not yet. We're going to do a live product demo. So this is the live site. I'm going to log in with my credentials here. And you'll kind of get a gist of what's going to happen as it happens, and I'll kind of go into a little more depth in just a minute. But I've created my credentials using the sign-up tool. Here I'm going to go ahead and log in. And here I've created classes as if I was a teacher or a manager wanting to create sections that I want participants to participate in, so I know who's actually practiced or not. This I've created a Capstone class, and we'll go into that. And here I have Michael. And I think I'm going to have Michael go ahead and participate. And what this is going to do, I'm going to click this. We're going to have a countdown timer. And it is an improv speech to a slideshow of random photos pulled off the internet. So I'm not sure if you've seen any of those photos yet, but we're going to go ahead and click into it. Yeah, you've done this a little bit.
Here we are, New York City. This is what we're talking about. You guys seen the new Spider-Man movie? No, I haven't either. And I really want to see that. 'Cause my favorite character is actually Venom. If you don't know who Venom is, it's the big black guy from the really, really bad Spider-Man movie. You know, when Tobey Maguire gets all emo about it. Then, Bruce Willis. What's that movie where he goes to the Rock and he like drills the holes, puts the nuke in, or Die Hard? That's what I was thinking. Yeah, Armageddon. There it is. This looks really sad. Like, I feel like this person's about to like make a stray dog. Is that how stray dogs happen? I don't know. I hope not. I think it ends well. I'm not really sure, but we'll find out.
That's it.
Thanks. That was fun.
Yeah. So as you can see, it's not like the greatest slideshow ever made. It is not the greatest speech anybody's ever made. But what this is doing is getting you very comfortable being uncomfortable. If something bad happens during a presentation, just being able to just roll with it, just being up here and being cool and calm. So that's kind of what I set out to do. One other feature, instead of the whole login credentials, if you go straight to the site, you can just do the quick start and it'll take you right to it, some quick directions, and you can start. But we'll just go back to the presentation. The technologies that I used, I didn't get too versed, but Vue.js and Bulma on the front end was what I used the most, and using an entire new front end framework, learning it in 2 weeks, was a challenge. It was amazing, and I love Vue.js. It is awesome. I recommend it to anybody that's looking to try. Bulma is also a CSS front end framework. That was another thing to get used to. The challenge is not just using Vue, but as I was learning and building the site, I would build more complex features and learn more complex Vue styles of using data, manipulating the DOM and whatnot. And it's choosing what to refactor or what to keep. That was a huge challenge. And also the design of the user experience for this, having the quick start and also having it set up for managers or teachers and whatnot. So just getting that all straightened out was difficult. For the future, I want to do more exercises, not just the random slideshow. I want to have custom slideshow variables, like you saw the timer on the side. I want to do custom time for the side. You can pick it. Also, the amount of slides you can have. I want to be able to incorporate feedback in a good way to people input right and share it right. I want to be able to record, share it, give categories, and have my own picture database. One of the cool things would be, I think this would be great as a smart TV app, not just like as your iPhone and whatnot, but something that somebody can have in their living room at almost all times. So, my name's Austin. That was Off the Cuff. If you'd care to give it a try, come find me afterwards. You can find it at offthecuff.solutions. Get more about me at ajdevs.com. And thank you very much. I'm Austin.
All right, hello. My name is Matthew Victor. I'm a full stack developer, and I'm honored to be standing up here tonight to discuss with you a little bit about myself and a little bit about what I've been working on. All right, first a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Virginia, where I stayed through college. I attended Virginia Commonwealth University, and there I received my bachelor's degree in marketing. I love dogs. I have two great ones by the names of Bree and Radish. And I'm a very proud father of a 1-year-old boy named Chase, who you might have heard a couple times tonight. As far as work history goes, I have a lot of management experience, and I've always found the best way to get the most out of someone is by treating them with respect. kind of treating them how you yourself would like to be treated. And finally, I'm very passionate about finding creative and workable solutions to everyday problems. And it's this last line of thought that kind of kept me craving more in my previous jobs. It took me a while to realize, but the tech industry has been an absolute perfect fit for me. I've fallen in love with web development, and I haven't looked back since. It's these passions and experiences that have led me to develop Momo, a hybrid mobile app for moms. A while back, I was having a conversation with my girlfriend, and I found she had a problem. She happens to be a mom. She just didn't have enough friends who were also moms. I learned that these type of friends were really the best resource for bouncing advice off each other and sharing experiences. But as a new mom, you don't exactly have a lot of time to go out and meet new people. This is where Momo comes in. So let's meet somebody new. Oh, geez. All right. So here we have Kelly. She has a rare free minute of time. She decides to log into Momo. After logging in, she's brought to the main menu. Here she sees all the features of Momo. Her goal today is to find a new friend. By clicking on the Moms button, a list of users in her area will be generated. Here she can scroll through, read their interests, see their children. She finds one that she thinks would be a good fit with her. She can say hi. This will send a message, and from there they can decide to exchange numbers, set up a play date, what have you. All right, now that she's found some friends, she needs to find an activity to do later that day. She also, though, wants to save some money. Clicking on the coupon button, which is powered by the Groupon API, a list of activities will be generated in her area. From there, she can also scroll through. She finds one that kind of piques her interest. She can click on that, get all the relevant information, and go do the activity. Finally, she doesn't have a question herself, but she wants to see what other users have been posting. Here she can scroll through, see all the questions, see the answers from other users, and she can even respond herself. Kelly, who happens to be a very intelligent person, stumbles upon this question: where should I buy clothes for my toddler? She knows that Nordstrom, obviously, is the best place to get clothes. That concludes her experience on Momo. All right, I don't know what happened here. So, technologies. On the front end, I used Ionic paired with Apache Cordova and AngularJS. Back end was Node.js, Express, Connect.js, and Postgres for the database. While developing Momo, I ran into a few challenges. Geolocation, trying to figure out the best way to locate a user, and then also dealing with that user's movement. Up until now, primarily designed web applications, so I really wanted to focus on mobile design's best practices, keeping the user interface user-friendly. Like I said earlier, I worked with Apache Cordova and Ionic. Those were brand new to me before I started this, so just learning those was a challenge, but also fun. And then finally, just managing my time the best I can. All right, like I said, my name is Matthew Victor. If you like this project, perhaps want to see more of my work, please visit matthewvictor.io. Thank you very much.
How are y'all doing this evening? Yeah. Good. My name is Ross Kaiser. Before we dive in, I just want to let you know a little bit about myself here. So who am I? I am originally from Boston. I moved out to Colorado for school up at CU Boulder. I am a full-stack developer. I'm a music entrepreneur. Prior to pursuing development, I spent all my time doing music, co-founded a record label here in the city, as well as 2 music acts. I'm a food enthusiast, and I'm a home chef. I absolutely love cooking for friends and family, going out to farmers markets, finding unique ingredients to cook with, and I take pride in plating. This is actually me doing up a meal for a couple friends. And so, the problem I seek to solve is just by show of hands, how many people have ever been to a farmer's market before? Beautiful. And those with your hands raised, have you ever wished there was a way to see what was going to be at the market before you got there? Thought so. Yeah, me too. In fact, just last week, I went to the farmer's market, was trying to get a whole array of vegetables for an extravagant vegetable platter, and all I got home with was this. And I think we all know the saying, when life gives you lemons, you're supposed to make lemonade, but in my instance, I really couldn't make anything. So because I couldn't make that vegetable platter, I made this. Present you farm to market. So let's go right on over to a demo. So this is farmtomarket.solutions. And upon getting to the site, any standard user can go ahead and just make an account. If you happen to be a farmer, you can make a farmer account. And you can scroll down, find a little bit about the site, how it works, how to find a market. You also have a featured market list. Let's go ahead and check out Stapleton Fresh Market. Upon coming to this page, you'll see a Google map, see a product distribution chart of the products there. You'll see the address, as well as a schedule of when the event is happening, a description, brief overview of the products there, and you'll also see the attending farmers here. So if you go ahead and click on one, let's check out Holter Farms here. So you're going to see that Holter Farms is bringing heirloom rainbow carrots. You're going to be able to read a description, the quantity, growing location, and the rating. So I have a little scenario here. So let's say Mr. Andrew Johnston, a new farmer, wants to come and make a farmer account. So we're going to go over here. We're going to sign up. Standard login information, name, email, address, and password. Then you'll be directed here. Here you can put in farm information as well as product information, image URLs, quantity, growing location, etc. And upon submitting this form, we will then be able to go back to Stapleton Fresh Market, and we will see Mr. Johnston down at the bottom there. We'll go ahead and click on him, and we will see the watermelons that he is bringing. So, let's also say that we are not a farmer or another farmer, and you just want to go ahead and check your profile. After you have signed up with us, you then have a full profile that you can go in and edit and see the information that you've just put in there. So we'll log in, different farmer, try myself. And there's the profile page. So that is about it for the demo here. Technologies I use in this project. On the front end, I did React, Chart.js for the data visualizations, Sass for the styling. On the back end, I did Express, Connects, Postgres, and Objection.js, which is an ORM. Challenges that I faced. I was dealing with very nested data, and also the data coming back from the API was a little hard to work with, so reformatting everything to make it very useful for me was a challenge. Time was also a challenge. Getting this done in a week and a half was definitely a big one. Future plans, I would love to add a social media aspect, have farmers, consumers, etc., be able to communicate via message board, instant messaging, what have you. And I would love for this to be a mobile app. I think this would be great to have in your pocket while you're on your way to the market. So here's some contact info for you. Personal site, rosskaiser.com. You can go check out farmtomarket.solutions right now. And thank you so much for your time.
Close enough. Hi, I'm Caroline, and I'm here to present Charge Nurse Assist. So a little about me and why I decided to build this app. I went to college at Dartmouth, where I studied mechanical engineering and econ, and then worked as a business consultant at APT, a predictive analytics firm in DC. At APT, I help my clients use their data to make better marketing and promotional decisions. So now I want to help hospitals use their data to help make nursing assignments better. The problem that I set out to solve is that assigning nurses to patients on hospital floors is currently a very manual process. It's done by the charge nurse on duty the shift before and often leads to very unequal assignments. On the left is Carter. She's a pediatric oncology nurse at Children's National in DC and was also my roommate, so I witnessed this issue firsthand. Each shift, she's in charge of the total care of 3 to 4 children, but these kids require vastly different levels of care. One might be in for an IV antibiotic, and that's it, while another might be a new diagnosis, require education about their disease, 10 IV medications, and so on. When assigned multiple high-need patients in one shift, it puts a lot of stress on each nurse, and there might be another nurse on the shift that's understaffed. These unequal assignments between nurses leads to burnout and turnover, which is very expensive for the hospital, a hostile work environment as nurses are jealous of other assignments, and also just suboptimal patient care. So my solution is to use multiple data sources to help the charge nurse on duty make smarter and faster assignments. Charge Nurse Assist integrates objective patient data from charts, such as medicine count or lab results, with subjective feedback from the nurse caring for the patient the shift before. Near the end of a shift, a nurse would rate a patient's needs from 1 to 5 on 3 questions that account for information that can't be accurately captured by the objective values. Charge Nurse Assist then creates one acuity score from the combination of these data sets to predict the intensity of the nursing needs for that patient in the upcoming shift. Charge Nurse also takes into account the nursing capabilities to make sure each patient is assigned to nurses that are properly prepared to care for their diagnoses. And lastly, it's flexible to maintain the human input of the charge nurse on duty. So now let's see how it would work if I logged in as the charge nurse on Carter's pediatric oncology unit. Get this running. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, yeah. Upon logging in, I'd see all the patients that are on this upcoming shift, along with the nurses that are staffed to work it. I can also see some summary statistics about my shift. I have 21 patients, 7 nurses to cover it, and these patients have an average acuity value of 2.7. That acuity value is what I described on the last slide, and each patient can see their own value on the top right-hand corner of their card. As I start assigning patients to nurses, Charge Nurse Assist will help me along with some helpful hints. You can see here that Carter has worked with patient 1 3 times in the last 2 weeks, so I'll assign them to her to maintain continuity of care. But when I go to assign patient 3, I can see that Carter's grayed out. And that's because patient 3 has a suppressed immune system, and Carter's already assigned an infectious patient, so we don't want them to share a nurse. She has a pretty high workload though, so I'll give her patient 4 to even it out anyway. As I continue to assign patients to nurses, you'll see that their acuity average updates as each patient is assigned, and they also take on important tags of the patients that they have. When I go to assign patient 3 though to Lucy, you'll see that she's grayed out, but she doesn't have any conflicting patient. That's because Lucy's a new nurse and isn't yet bone marrow certified, so wouldn't be able to properly care for patient 3. For the sake of time, I'll speed up the assignment of the rest of the unit a little bit. But you can see that the goal generally is that each nurse is getting as close to that 2.7 as average acuity rating on the floor as possible while maintaining 3 or 4 patients. There are some exceptions though. You might notice that Max and Lucy had a little bit of a lower score. That's because they're new nurses and I want to give them a lighter load. Catherine also on the other end has kind of taken off some of that slack and has a slightly above average score, but I know that she's extremely competent and knows her patients well. If I don't like an assignment though, I can easily modify it. So even though Lucy's score is slightly below average, she's brand new and I want to give her a little bit of a break. So I'll switch one of her 2.3s with Margaret's 2. But patient 14 is infectious, so that wouldn't go well with Margaret's caseload, so I'll switch 11 for 6. So now the shift's ready for the upcoming shift. The nurses have a relatively equal rating, and hopefully it'll lead to better patient care. So in order to create Charge Nurse, I used React and Redux on the front end, and Node, Express, and Postgres on the back end. And some challenges I encountered was just finding the right strike of balance between automation and human interaction. My first instinct was just to do automated assignments to each patient, but after talking to a lot of nurses, there are so many factors you wouldn't be able to account for, such as the personality of the nurses and the patients, so I shifted in making it an assistive and not automated device. Also, the varying requirements by unit. Multiple nurses across different hospitals really said this is a huge problem for them, but what they find the most important would vary. So for example, what patients could be assigned to the same nurse on an oncology floor is going to be different than a post-op floor. And so making it really flexible when each unit gets up to speed to be able to put in what they value the most is definitely important. And last, patient privacy. Right now, the patients just have a bed number to take out all personable, identifiable information, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. So that was Charge Nurse, and thank you all for listening.
Awesome. Let's give it up one more time for the first half of presentations that we saw today. Awesome. So if you had arrived late or you're tuning in on the live stream, we are going to take a brief intermission right now. We've got through 9 presentations. We've got 9 more to go. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break. So I've got 6:40. We all need to be back here. If you need to freshen up, the refreshments are right out there, along with the restrooms. We are live streaming this. It is available on YouTube as well as g51.tech. Cool. If you have any questions, see anyone with a Galvanize t-shirt or me, and I'm happy to answer them. Thank you. See you in 10 minutes. Put it like under your mouth, like right here. Hello? Hey everyone, if we could start to find a seat. Am I just doing this for the stream, CJ? Am I just doing this for the stream? Okay. If I could grab everyone's attention, we'd like to get started again. Plenty of seats over here if you'd like to fill in. Students, don't bite hard. Please find a seat. Awesome. So we've seen half the presentations right now. You're in for a treat. You're going to see some awesome ones here. And you might be wondering what this thing is. So without further ado, I'm going to let the creator, Jason, come up and tell you about it.
Okay. Can you guys see me over there? Maybe a little bit. I'll just move around a little bit. There we go. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Jason Clifton. I'm going to go into a little bit about myself. So, starting off, I got into sports at a pretty young age, specifically football. During that time, I found like a love for physical therapy and just kind of bettering yourself in that way. I switched over to a career in construction where I did decks for about 3 years. I ran a decking crew and just solving problems all the time there. During that time, I kind of found a love for coding, so I started doing it in my free time, and I came across Galvanize, and that kind of brings me here today. So, the problem, as you can see here, Dan is not having a good day. He's always in a rush. He's losing track of time. He didn't check the weather, and here he is. I don't know how many times that's happened to you guys, but it is not fun. So, to solve this, you know, Dan spends 30 to 60% of his morning in front of a mirror. Why can't we use that mirror to display something for him, like the date and the time? So, here we have a mirror. You can wave to yourself if you want, and it shows him the time, or the weather and the time, the date for the week. Right now it's going into the nighttime, so it'll show him tonight if he decides he wants to go out. And yeah, that's that. Some of the texts I used to run the actual Raspberry Pi, I had to put it in Resin, which runs an Electron app with React. For my backend, I use MongoDB along with Mongoose. And yeah, some of the challenges I had, getting the app to run smoothly on the Raspberry Pi. I got it all set up, and then I ran it on here, and it was so slow you could not see it. So I found that Resin IO, and that really helped smoothen it out and made it run good. Also implementing small parts, like running the Electron app with React inside of Resin, just small parts and trying to connect all the dots. It was not too easy. And yeah, that's me. If you guys want to talk to me after, or I have my contact information up here. Thank you.
Does he need a mic, CJ?
I'll be loud.
Hi guys, my name is Matthew Gonzer. I have a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in Chinese medicine. For the past 4 years, I've owned and operated an acupuncture clinic with my wife. I'm now a full stack developer. Anyone here been to the doctors? So I assume then that some of you have the experience of leaving with more questions than you had when you came in. Let's look at an example. Hi, what brings you in today?
I have a lot of trouble sleeping.
Ah, yes. Sounds to me like you have insomnia. I'm going to prescribe you Ambien. Take 2 and call me in the morning. Now, when the patient leaves the office, any questions they might have can be answered with access to thousands of online resources to help them better understand their treatment and diagnosis. But what if the treatment doesn't help? Or what if they're unhappy with the side effects? Well, then they're potentially like 1 in 3 Americans seeking some sort of complementary and alternative medicine, or CAM. So let's look at this patient in the acupuncture clinic. What brings you in today?
I have a lot of trouble sleeping. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor, regular. Anyway, so I went, and they said that I have insomnia. So they gave me Ambien, and it helps me go to sleep, but I find that I wake up in a lot of really strange places.
Yes, yes. So can I see your tongue, please? Tongue, please. And I'll check your pulse. It appears to me that you have kidney yin deficiency with heart heat and liver qi stagnation. I'm going to prescribe you Tian Wang Bushingdan, along with weekly acupuncture appointments, dietary lifestyle changes, and I want you to start doing Tai Chi. So, when the patient leaves this appointment, chances are they're going to have even more questions about how is this going to help me? And unfortunately, there's a lack of resources available online when it comes to alternative medicine. I present to you Luna Portal, a practice management app that provides patients access to resources and information that they seek to help them better understand their diagnosis, treatment, and service. So here's Sarah. Sarah's a 35-year-old female diagnosed with unexplained infertility. She's now seeking acupuncture treatments. She leaves her initial visit excited about the new treatment approach, but overwhelmed with questions. How is this going to help me? When Sarah gets home, she logs in to Luna Portal. From her dashboard, she goes to her treatment page where she sees her diagnosis and treatment plan clearly defined. To the right, she has notes that her practitioner wrote to her. Sarah has her own personal page with resources customized to her diagnosis and treatment plan to help her better understand her condition. This makes the treatment process more transparent and attainable. When Sarah feels more comfortable, she can view all resources, and when she finds something she likes, she can pin it to her board for later viewing. She knows that her acupuncturist wants to see her as soon as she ovulates, so she goes to Kandara and updates her menstrual chart to let her acupuncturist know. Now she can go to Acuity Scheduling and schedule a last-minute appointment and get in for a treatment. As a practitioner, Luna Portal saves you time and allows for continued patient care in between appointments. A practitioner can edit and create a diagnosis to reflect their patient's progress and the effectiveness of their treatment. They can write personalized notes to their patients, as well as remove resources that are no longer necessary and add new resources as they create them. A practitioner can also manage all of their resources and easily organize them by category. And as soon as they come up with something new, they can add it with the click of a button. As their practice grows, so does their need for an inventory. Luna Portal allows for easy inventory management, an essential feature for any growing business. Luna Portal was built with React and Redux on the front end, Node Express on the back, as well as Postgres, Connects, and Objection.js. The initial plan was to make this a full-fledged practice management app with charting, billing, and messaging. However, that would constitute as personal health information and would have to be HIPAA compliant. HIPAA compliance is a complex process and very expensive. So to get around that, Luna Portal does not store any personal health information. All patients are referenced by first name and ID alone. This has been Luna Portal. My name's Matthew Gonzer. Please email me if you have any questions or if you'd like to include Luna Portal in your practice. Thank you.
Hello. All right. Hi, everybody. First of all, I apologize if I look tired compared to everybody else. I'm not tired. I'm middle-aged. If you don't know what that's like, just take your current age, double it. Now imagine you're still alive. It's like that every day. Anyhow, my name is Sean McClymans. I'm a full-stack web developer. Formerly, I was an investment consultant. I was in the financial services industry for 20 years. But that wasn't really what I enjoyed. I liked the moments when a problem came up and I'd get to build something to fix that, but in the financial services industry, they don't want to pay you for that. They want to pay you to talk to people and bring in more money. I've also been a stand-up comedian for the better part of 7 years, on hiatus, but eventually I hope to get back to that. But in that, there is a problem in stand-up comedy. The way shows are put together, it's this little mess, everything going through Facebook, bookers reaching out to people to see if they want to do the shows, and comedians responding back, and it's like throwing spaghetti at a wall. And so, a lot of that comes down to the mess of, for the booking agents, for them to fill spots on the show, it can be difficult because they don't know all the comedians on the scene, or the comedians don't know them. Comedians may not be doing enough shows because the booking agents don't know about them or that they're even interested in doing their shows. So that's why I created Jokey, an app for people whose dreams didn't die yet and those who wish to exploit them because they lied and told somebody that they could put on a great comedy show at their establishment. Or more simply, why is this locked up? All right. An app to simplify scheduling comedy shows for booking agents and comedians. So, an example here. Bob lies. He tells somebody he can put on a great comedy show, and this is nothing against Bob. It's just he loves comedy, and he doesn't understand how much a bad comedy show can ruin somebody's evening. So what he does is he goes out on a jokey. First thing he sees out there is shows that are coming up there. He can go ahead and create his own show. He can then go about managing his shows, looking for comedians that he'd either like to add to his wish list, or even comedians that have indicated interest through the app that they'd like to do a show after he's put it out there. Dave is a comedian. Dave has been down since losing everything in a fire, wants to distract himself by doing more shows. So Dave goes out there again, he sees the shows that are available, he can drill down into a show, get more information, see who the booking agent is, when it is, and if he's interested, mark that he's interested or just pass on it. You can also see his schedule for shows, so he doesn't lose track, because that's another problem with comedians. They're not good about going and putting things out there on like Google Calendar themselves. So sometimes they end up double booked because they haven't paid attention to things. And what they can also do is look at other comedians that they've worked with. And so if they thought, oh, hey, this person does a great job, give them a heck yeah, so that other booking agents out there can see, all right, this person's recommended by so-and-so, and trust that they'd be good to have on the show. The technologies I use for building this, build a mean stack app on the front end, of course using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap and Angular. Back end using the Node Express and MongoDB, using Mongoose for building the routes, and then using Firebase and Heroku for the deployments on the front end and the back end. The challenges that I came across were with Facebook OAuth. This is designed for people to be able to log in with their Facebook ID, because that's how a lot of the communications are currently done in the community, on the comedian world. Even though that's not the most efficient way to create comedy shows, it's just how it's done. So I figured it'd be best to keep that still intertwined. Also, using relational data with MongoDB. It's come from a SQL background, so starting to do something in a NoSQL format. Took some little bit of learning to do. Also, Hamilton doesn't care about my problems. Hamilton is my French bulldog, and he hasn't been very understanding about this. I need to reintegrate myself back into my family after this whole project is done. Thank you, everybody. This has been Jokey. My name is Sean McClymans. Here's my contact info. Thank you.
Not me. I've seen this thing fall off before, so. All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Matt Pitts, and I've been building things my whole life. I built my first website when I was 13 years old in order to show off some maps I had made for a game called Tribes 2, an old game most of you probably haven't heard of, but my original career ambition was to go into computer science and become a game developer, but shortly thereafter I got really into music, and I spent my high school career practicing a ton and ended up getting a full ride scholarship to CU Boulder, where I studied saxophone performance. And then I became a professional musician. That's me with the Kenny G hair, if you can see me. And it was really fun. I got to do a lot of cool stuff, meet some amazing people, travel all over the country, and play in some beautiful venues. But I missed the cognitive, cerebral part of programming that had inspired me in the early days of my youth. So about a year ago, I decided to make a transition into the full stack and decided to attend Galvanize. Coming into Galvanize, I didn't really consider myself to be a designer at all. I loved coding, and I thought I was pretty good at it, but design was this like magical thing that I didn't really understand. So we had a bunch of wonderful designers in our class, and watching them build beautiful, aesthetically pleasing things inspired me to try to learn more about it. And in doing so, I learned and saw some barriers of entry. For one thing, the apps that you need to do it can be kind of pricey, and they have a steep learning curve, at least for someone like me who's just kind of getting into it, and you know, it was a little overwhelming. So I felt like I needed just something simple to play with that I could, play around with colors and move shapes around without getting overwhelmed by complexity. So to that end, I created Vectora, which is an in-browser introduction to graphic design. And it utilizes in-browser scalable vector graphics to allow the user to create art within the browser. So as you can see in the top left corner, there's a little toolbar, and you can select various shapes. In this case, we've selected a rectangle, dragged it out. You can move it around and resize it as you desire. On the right side is a properties bar where you can change the color of shapes as well as give them borders, and you can change the color of the border and also set the alpha transparency of the colors that you've chosen. You can also select the ellipse tool, which is created in a similar fashion to the rectangle tool. And there's also a circle tool, which is similar to the ellipse tool, except it maintains its aspect ratio. Additionally, there's a draw tool, which allows you to free draw, but you can also fill that shape that you've drawn in with color as well, so you have a little more options for crazier shapes, if you will. When you select something, it pops to the front of the layers list so that you can see it more easily and manipulate it. But you can also change that permanently by clicking the little arrows next to the layers, moving shapes forward and back in the stack of shapes so you get something that you like. And once you do have something you like, you can hit the export button where you can get your SVG code laid out so you can paste it into an HTML document. You can also hit the new button to start with a blank canvas. And you can also sign up and create an account and log in, and then you have access to the projects menu where you can load up various projects you've worked on, continue to edit them, add new shapes, update them, save them, and delete the projects. And these are just a few of the things that I have so far created with Vectora in its short lifespan. So this was a very challenging app to build. I didn't even realize how hard it was going to be to do. I'm basically using 4 event listeners to control all the artboard stuff: mouse down, mouse up, mouse move, and on click. And everything else is used Redux state and user interaction to figure out what should happen when the mouse moves and whatnot. It was my first Redux app, so trying to figure out where to put things and how to design the architecture of the program was definitely challenging and brain melty, but it was also really fun. And given the complexity, feature prioritization became very important because I had very grandiose ideas for this app, and I had to scale it back significantly in order to present something today. I used React, as I said, and Redux on the front end, MongoDB, Node, Express, and Monk on the back end. And the little color pickers you saw on the right side are from an NPM library called React Color, which is awesome if you need anything like that. So once again, my name is Matt Pitts. You can find more of my projects at mattpitts.tech, and Vectora is live right now at vectoradesign.com if you feel like doing some doodling. Thank you. If someone else wants to take care of it and I'll just wear it, that's fine with me.
Express.js for our JSON routes, and Mocha, Chai, and Supertest to test our routes. Now,
hello everyone, my name is Stephen Morton, and I'm a full stack developer. So a little more about myself. I'm from Ohio. I lived there most of my life, grew up there. So I ended up going to the Ohio State University. There I studied mechanical engineering. But after taking an intro to programming course, I really enjoyed that. So I decided to switch to computer science, and I got a degree in that. After college, I decided to work with my family in childcare. But after a few years of doing that, I decided it wasn't really for me, and I wanted to get back into technology and coding, and that's how I came across Galvanize, and here I am today. So the problem I was trying to solve was, say you're at your computer all day, and you come across some articles you want to read, so you have like all these tabs open to all these articles, and if you're like me, at the end of the day, you just don't have time to read all of them. A couple other problems I considered was maybe you have a reading disability, or maybe you're visually impaired. So the solution I came up with is something I'm calling Article Articulator. So what is it? It's a text-to-speech web application where you can save articles to one place, and there you can listen to any of the saved articles and organize them into playlists. The idea being that you can listen to articles while working on something else and multitasking. So let's go into a live demo. So this is our Article Articulator. This is the main page. I'm already logged in. So on the left, I have all the articles I've previously saved, and on the right are the playlists I've created. Each article links back to the original source if you need to reference it for some reason. And if you want to play an article, all you need to do is just press the play next to the title of the article. So I found this awesome article on Chipotle, so let's play that.
One of the best things about Chipotle is the secret menu. Using this hidden set of selections, customers can treat themselves to crazy food combos like the quesarito or taco nachos. But what you might not know is that...
So in the header, you can see that you can see the currently played article, and also in the header, you can pause it, so later on you can resume.
Chipotle's secret menu isn't limited to food. Here's how you can use that same secret menu to order a gun. Okay. First off,
so adding an article is pretty easy. You just need the URL. So I'm just going to copy this, and all you need to do is click this button here and provide the URL, and press enter. I'm going to add a couple more. And once you add all these articles, they should show up in your article list. So down here. And say you want to organize your articles, so you can do that through playlists. This first article I added is a game, and I already have a gaming playlist, so all you need to do is press this plus button, and here all of your playlists show up. And so I'm just going to click gaming here. And these other two I don't really have a playlist for, so I'm going to create a new one. And that's pretty easy to do too. So you just click here, give it a name, and then you can add them to that playlist. So that's the demo. The tech I used, on the back end I used Node, Express, Connects, Postgres. I also use this NPM package called Article Parser to extract the data from the web page. And on the front end I use React and Redux and Bootstrap. And then I use Web Audio API to convert the text to speech. Feature plans, I'd like to add a Firefox or Chrome extension so that you can add the articles with a simple click of a button. I'd also like to incorporate IBM Watson or Amazon Polly for a higher quality natural voice. And I'd also like to create a mobile app so that you can listen to your articles while on the go or traveling. So to end this presentation, I'd like to play one more article. Maybe? Oh.
My name is Stephen Wharton, and thank you for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Hello, I'm Jacob Feldman. So I'm a developer, an engineer, a designer, a musician, about to be a husband, and I am a dog dad of these two awesome dogs. That's Banksy and Bella. So to give you a little bit of background about myself, I have dual bachelor degrees in engineering earned from the University of Wyoming. First was in architectural engineering, and the second was in petroleum engineering. In 2014, when oil and gas took a hit, I found myself working for a print-on-demand company. They were a large back-end fulfillment provider for some larger e-commerce companies like Shutterfly and Society6. Well, there I found myself, I handled all operations, specifically supply chain management, inventory management, and software implementation. So there I was working with our development staff to bring on new software for reports and anything that was necessary for operations of the company. That's kind of where I got my first taste of development, and that's what brought me here today. So show of hands, who here uses sites like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace to buy things? And during those interactions, when you go to meet the buyer or seller, have like an uncomfortable feeling, don't really like the dealing the actual transaction itself. Cool, well, welcome to Thrifty. Thrifty is a peer-to-peer shopping application that provides a way for users to have a safe interaction between both buyer and seller and handles all transactions. So let's go into a demo. So start off with an example. So Riley here, she wants to sell a pair of boots that have been sitting in her closet for too long. So she's already made an account. She's going to log in. Once she logs in, she's going to be directed to her feed. Feeds are organized specifically from like most recent products, and they're sorted by categories. So she can browse by products. She can go into different categories, see this nice purse that's being sold by CJ. Or you can look up some DVDs. So to add a product, on the app's main navigation, you can see in the center there's a add icon. Here she has access to her camera roll, selects the pair of boots, inserts the title, puts in a price, description, color, and you can also add in the category in which the product will sell under. Right here, I'd like to note that all product storage and all image storage is handled by AWS S3. So once she creates the product, she's going to go ahead and log out and wait. Insert Mary. Mary's looking for a new pair of boots, so she's going to hop on the app. Mary logs in. And once she logs in, she's able to see the boots that Riley just added right at the very top of her feed. So after doing some scrolling, she decides that those are the ones she wants to buy. From here, she's going to check out some info on them, verify that she wants to buy them, and clicks the buy button. Here, if you're familiar with eBay, it's kind of like a buy it now feature. It takes you straight to a Stripe integrated payment platform. For anyone watching at home, this is not a real credit card number, so don't try it. So she can put in all her contact information, shipping information here. Once she is finished, she'll be able to process the payment. One thing to note, Thrifty doesn't handle any credit cards on their server in order to be fully PCI compliant. Stripe handles all of that for us. When she's confirmed all of her information, she's going to go ahead and click Done. It's going to process the payment. Thank you for your order. And just as a note, when she goes home, obviously the product that was there is no longer available in the feed. So some future implementations I want to do is integration with the UPS API. Currently, for a user to, or whenever a seller sells a product, they have to ship the product. When they do they're going to have to go back in and mark the product that's shipped, and it's a very manual process. Using the UPS API, we'll be able to automate this and create a better user experience. I'd also like to add an Android version of the application. Some of the technology used was React Native, Redux on the back end, Node Express, Connects, Objection, Stripe API, Amazon Web Services, and PostgreSQL to handle all the data. Some of the challenges I faced specifically were using React Native with the camera and uploading to S3. There's quite a few ways to do it, and I ran into errors almost with every one of them. But eventually did get it to work, so that's pretty exciting. And then also using the Stripe API. To process credit card, we have to send from the client a request to the Stripe API. They're going to send back a token. From there, you have to pass that to my server, and then actually send a server-side request to their API again to actually process the payment. Once again, I'm Jacob Feldman. If you want to reach out, you can see more of my work at jacobfeldman.info, and that was Thrifty.
What's up? Yeah, okay. All right. Hello, my name is Robert Pulse, and I made the BeatBot. This down here is it. If you can't see it, don't worry, you're going to hear it in a few seconds. So a little bit about me. Yeah. So a few things about me. I am a drummer. I've been drumming for about 7 years now. I'm originally from Ohio, and I've been interested in computers for pretty much ever, since I've been like taking them apart, messing around in the command prompt, all sorts of things. And then my first taste of programming was in high school, and I really loved it. 'Cause it combined two things I liked: solving problems and computers. So then I went to Sinclair, and I was majoring in computer science before coming here to Galvanize, and here we are now. So basically, I was trying to think of what to do. I was like, oh, I want to try something with hardware. I haven't done that yet. I was like, well, robots are cool, and drumming's cool, so drumming robot, that's cool. So that's about it, yeah. So I'm going to hop into the demo. And so this is the login screen. When I log in, it's going to connect me to my Raspberry Pi. Now, when you sign up, it will ask you for your Raspberry Pi's IP address. This is not working now. Refresh it. Oh. Yeah, I may need to spin back up. It was working a second ago. Yeah, I did refresh the page. Did you break it, CJ, when you moved it over here? Might have. Well, this isn't good. All right, well, so, yeah, it is on, but I have a video anyway. So that's fine. All right, so you can log in here. It'll connect you to your Raspberry Pi. When you first sign up, it'll ask you for your Pi's IP address, and that's how you know when to. That's how it knows how to connect. And so when you log in, it'll take you to the sequencer here, and you can fill it out however you want. Right now, I only have the snare hooked up to it, and so this is going to send a signal to the Raspberry Pi when I press play here. In a sec. We'll keep going there. In a second now. And so you can't, I have another video showing that, but so it'll send the signal there and it'll play in a loop until you press stop, and then you can save it down to your Pi, or you could upload it up to our server and everyone else can see it. Here's the music that you saved down to your Raspberry Pi. Only you can see that, and then there's also, you can also play all these from here and stop them. You can also go to the cloud and see all the music everyone has uploaded. You can also play those. I also made a tutorial up here, so if you wanted to make your own and connect it, you could. It tells you how to set up the Pi. It shows you how to install dependencies. It shows you, I have code here that you can just download and just put it on your Pi and run it, and it'll just work. And then here is a little video I recorded of it playing. I recorded this like maybe 30 minutes before we started. So there it is. All right, so a few technologies I used on this. In the front end, I wrote all in Ember. I wrote all my own CSS. I didn't use a framework. I used a little bit of jQuery. In the back end, I have an Express server on the Pi itself and also up in Heroku. They both have a Mongo database on them. And I also use something called Pi GPIO, which allowed me to write to the Pi in JavaScript. And hardware, I'm using my Raspberry Pi and these little servos. And so some of the challenges of this were, so the Raspberry Pi's native language is Python. So at first I wrote everything in Python to make it work and move, and then I had to translate that to JavaScript to make it work with my Express server. And so finding a package that would let me do that was kind of annoying. There were so many of them, and they were all basically written by one guy 4 years ago, and none of them worked anymore. And then the speed and the timing of the servo was a little weird to get down to make it in a rhythm. And then also, if I would also crash the Pi if I plug in too many servos. So to get around that, I have an external power supply if I plug in more. Here's a diagram of what's actually happening. So on the browser, you have your sequencer that gets the input from the user, and it sends it to the Pi, and it runs it in a loop on the Raspberry Pi. And basically, it's looking for a true or false. And if it's false, nothing happens. But if it's true, it'll send a signal to the GPIO pin, which will tell the servo motor to move to a certain angle and then reset. And then in between each movement, there's a timer that is based off of the BPM that you enter. And so some future plans for this, I think it'd be really easy to apply this technology to other instruments. And I would also like to make a desktop app, kind of make a more professional studio for you to work in. I also would like to make it expandable so that the user can enter as many drums as they wanted. And again, I'm Robert Pulse. This is my contact information. You can reach me at any of that. And thank you. I want to get to work. It was like working right before it was working right before I came up. I was testing it over there. Okay. It's that one. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it's not. I'll come back up and show you guys later. I'm just gonna blame CJ for it.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Marlena Baker, a former art grad and project manager for Pearson's Higher Education Services and Delivery Department, where I saw the potential for technology to facilitate education. And that's why I'm going to show you OpenBook today. OpenBook is a lightweight, highly customizable LMS that allows teachers to easily build courses using only the tools they need for the subject that they're teaching. Some of you might be wondering, what's an LMS? It stands for Learning Management System, and you might still be wondering what in the world that is. A learning management system organizes and delivers online course content, as well as reports on student grades and other student statistics. Some of you might know Blackboard, Moodle, or Canvas. And that might sound broad, and that's because it is. There's a lot of different ones, and they have a lot of different features. Before starting OpenBook, I surveyed educators. I'm not one, and who better to tell me what OpenBook needs to be? And teachers were worried that they were losing time finding the tools that were meant to help them. And at the same time, students needed to learn to use the system quickly in order to use it over the course of a semester. So it's no surprise that ease of use was highly valued by those educators. 12 out of 15 rated ease of creation as the most important thing, and all 15 out of 15 rated ease of access highest. However, 7 out of 12 educators that were familiar with LMS didn't think that it actually helped their job. And so that's where OpenBook comes in. We're going to go through it with Catherine, an art instructor at a local community college, and she's teaching a drawing concepts course. From the dashboard, she can see the start and end dates of her course, as well as notifications for the course, such as new submissions from students or messages from them. She can also access the course, where she can create a new course item, view items that she's already made, and check the gradebook. From the gradebook, she can see which students have and haven't submitted an assignment, what their grade is, or if they've got a grade yet, and the grading rubric for the assignment. Today, she's going to be doing a live drawing demonstration with HTML Canvas. During the demonstration, she has access to a number of drawing tools such as brush color, background color, brush size, and an eraser. While she's drawing, students can see the drawing in real time thanks to their own OpenBook account and Sockets.io. The demonstration includes a chat, which allows Catherine to interact with them, prompting discussions and answering questions. How did I do this? On the front end, I used Vue.js. I've fallen in love with it over the course of the program. Writing with CSS, JavaScript, and CSS, and Socket.io for that real-time functionality. On the back end, I have a Node.js server with Express. I'm sure you're used to hearing that by now. And I use 2 different databases. I use PostgreSQL with Connects for my more structured information like user login. And I used MongoDB with Monk for the information that needed to be more flexible, like the course tools. My challenges, working with Canvas and the Vue model, it was interesting being sure that I captured all the right information, sent all the right information over sockets, and then rendered it all right on the student side using Vue. And then managing a large variety of data across 2 databases and Vuex. I ran into similar problems with referencing the data properly, formatting it properly, and rendering it properly. And probably the biggest one was scope. OpenBook has a lot of potential, and I wanted to do everything. But given the 2-week time span, I had to choose carefully what I was going to be able to show you guys today. So obviously, the first thing I want to do is make more tools for it. I think there's a lot of potential to fill gaps, like art education, music education, that aren't served by online education. And I'd like to let other people help me out, if possible, by making resources to let the community build the tools that they see a need for. And one of the things that was also rated highly by educators was a grade book. So I'd like to make open books more robust and customizable for them. So anyways, that's OpenBook. You can see the demo at openbook.digital and find me at marlenabaker.tech. Thank you very much.
Hey guys. Alright. Sound good over there? Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for staying till the end. My name is Will Meyer. I'm an artist, writer, now developer, and generally creative dude. While I've been in Galvanize, I've really tried to make sure that the projects that I've been doing have been creative and fun. This was an app that we made that was like a little interface so you could draw dots, color them in with a color slider, and it would show up on a LED panel at the front of the room. We use sockets, so in this video there's 109 active users. A lot of them were robots that were coloring in on the picture all at the same time, collaborating on this image. Today, I also made a public speaking app. But in all seriousness, my buddy in Kansas City came up with this game called Rhyme Dice, where you take some clay dice and write vowel sounds on them and roll them and freestyle. And I started thinking about how much this would be like just amazing as an app, and as soon as I had the idea, I couldn't get it out of my head. I'm sure that probably some of you have preconceptions about what freestyling is, but you know, my friends are, you know, we're artists, writers, generally creative people in general, and you know, as like a creative brainstorming exercise, you know, you get in this headspace where you like, you know, you're coming off the top of your head and you're coming up with something fun, and it's just, I just want to make apps that are like fun for people to use. So, Rhyme Dice, the app. Boom. Log in, and like one of the things that was really important for me was to use the phone, keep it mobile, so that you could actually like shake the dice and have them roll. I made this API that has like words that rhyme with every vowel sound, and you can tap the cloud and get new words. You can shake them, re-roll. You can play beats that you upload for the internet. You can make recordings and save them. And one of the really important features that I wanted to play with was, I knew in iOS 11, which was still in beta until 2 days ago, there was the new feature of the AR kit, which allows you to place a 3D model and interact with it in real space. So I actually, you can do it right here if you want to play with it. Model these dice in 3D with Cinema 4D, and you can roll the dice, shake them, and that's the same dice that you see. So there's like a set of dice in the app. But yeah, it's really fun to make. It was extremely challenging because I wrote this in Swift, and for those of you that don't know, Swift is it's not only a more challenging language than JavaScript. It was completely foreign. It wasn't taught here, and I didn't even get to use HTML and CSS. In addition to writing it in Swift, like I mentioned, I wrote it in both Swift 4, Xcode 9, and iOS 11, which were all beta the entire time I was developing it. And so these are some videos of Xcode just crashing for fun. It was fun for me too. Yeah, so the future of this app, I really want to see it get in the App Store. I think it has a lot of potential. There's not really anything like this that I know of. It was a great idea that my buddy Macy had. And it came from a social place, so I really want to emphasize a social element. Like those recordings that you saw in the video, those were both recordings that were made on the phone, but then logged in as another dummy account because it's not live on the App Store, but also you have the ability to tag Facebook friends because it implements Facebook OAuth. So I really want to up the social element, make more of a UI layer for the social part, so it's like an experience with your friends. So I'm Will Meyer. This is how you can contact me. You good? Everybody, you know, when I present this stuff, he's just like, do a freestyle, and like I'm not. But here you go. Here's this.
Rolling them. Austin. I'm so exhausted. Slurring and I ain't even tossed it. No, I'm about to kill it like my broski rousted. Austin. Keep it weird like I'm from Austin. Yeah. Finish the Capstone feeling awesome. About to go get some beers and toss them, throw them back till I'm blurry. Now I'm really slurry. Snow's a flurry. It's a blizzard out here. You know, I'm a wizard out here. Capstone presentation, this is it here. Give me a job.
So all that from a guy who, for the last 6 months, has greeted me every morning with, "What's good, man?" And then I had to look up the response. It's the oldest I've ever felt in my life. My name is Kyle Coberly. I'm the faculty director here at Galvanize. I manage the web development programs. And wanted to close out on a few things, but first, holy cow, can we get a round of applause for those students? Man alive. Raise your hand if you are a member of the instructional staff here. So there's a lot of work that goes into like making that happen. So round of applause for all of them, please. Two people in particular that I want to call out. Somebody who was standing on this stage 6 months ago, Miss Kastorski. Thank you so much. And holy shit, CJ Reynolds, everybody. Oh, what a monster. I've done a lot of these. I think this is number 13, 14, 15 for me. And I got to say, this is hands down the most independent class I've ever worked with. Period. The end. And there's a word for that gets used in this business a little bit more regularly. It's empowered. They are empowered developers. They're people that don't wait for you to suggest a solution. You give them a problem and they just run. That's valuable. That's incredible. And I think that I've been thinking about a lot in the last couple months is like, what does it mean to be a developer? And I think the traditional answer has been that developer is synonymous with programmer. And like, it isn't. Like a programmer is somebody who talks to computers. And that's part of it. We need to be able to talk to computers. We need to be able to tell computers what to do to help us solve our problems. But a developer does the other side of this also. They talk to humans. And they're the translation layer between talking to people and talking to computers. And when I think about what's valuable about a program like this, it's which humans are you talking to? Which problems are you trying to solve together? And when you think about somebody who goes through a very traditional route into software development, you
you're really just thinking about the programming side of that. And what impresses me so much about all of them is you've seen the varied backgrounds that they come from. And they bring that to bear when they're solving problems. And that's what you want when you're hiring people. You want people who bring their backgrounds with them. You don't care that they can just talk to computers. It matters that they can talk to people also. And which people are they talking to? Who do you have on your team? You have people who have identical backgrounds. That doesn't mean that much on the other half of the equation. You have people that come from all of the backgrounds that you've seen tonight. That's what moves the needle. And I don't think I really got that before I started teaching here. Seeing people who 6 months ago were not able to do this, much less do this in 2 weeks, that's inspiring. People quit their lives to be here. They did all kinds of other things before this. Gave it all up. A lot of you here, family members, parents, spouses, friends, and you probably didn't get to hang out with them all that much in the last 6 months because they were doing this. And that's inspiring. I want to be around people who inspire me. And people who can do... There's number one. I was going to try to limit myself to crying 3 times, but... I want to work with people who inspire me, don't you? It's not just about writing software. It's about writing software for people. What do they care about? What do they want to do? And when I'm around people who are inspiring, people who want to quit their lives so that they can be more, makes me want to be more too. So they're capable developers. You've all seen that. You saw the presentations. But like, that's not code monkey stuff. That's not like we gave them a tricky problem to solve and they figured it out. This was them bringing who they were and solving problems in kind of a cool way. And that's who I want to work with. And so if you would like to work with people who inspire you, hurry up. So thank you all so much for coming tonight. You'll get a chance to chat with all these people out in the lobby. One more round of applause for them, and then quick stand down.
Students, get over here. Stand down, stand down, stand down. Circle up, Oh, God, terrible at that. We'll get it one day. Circle up, students, circle up.
Just saved your little thing. You tried to destroy it.
So, for you guys, please, how about one more time for the stage? Any last words, amigo?
Yeah, definitely. Holy shit. So, Kyle mentioned it, you guys are probably the most independent cohort we've seen. And it's just a privilege and an honor to be around you every day. Like, you guys give it your all, and it showed tonight. You put in some hard work and presented some beautiful capstones, and I'm just so thankful to have spent the last 6 months with you all. So thank you. All right. One last stand down, clap out this week. We'll have more next week, but one, we're gonna do it nice and tight on one. All right, on 1. 3, 2. 6-1. You got it.
One more week, coach.